What up, Silver and Blue Nation? Welcome back to Mic'd Up with Jeff. I'm your host, Jeff Freeman. And today we're going to do a quick hit on the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears game this past Sunday. The Cowboys didn't look too good in this game. And we just want to highlight some of the plays during that game and just kind of just put it out on the table. And I want to get some of your thoughts about this game. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I will really appreciate that. But let's just jump right into the game. Okay. Kind of jumping forward in the game. I know the first drive, the Cowboys forced the Chicago Bears to go 3 and out. And then this is the second drive that I'm showing on my screen right now. You got Trayvon Diggs and Adunze at the top of the screen. And this is one of the explosive plays that we talked about in the last episode about how this secondary has been giving up a lot of explosive plays. And it's just not a good look. But this right here, this is a blitz. They only blitzed like 7 or 8 times the entire game. And I'm not a fan of Eberflus's defensive scheme right now. Just a lot of zone. They're trying to keep everything under, and it's just costing the Cowboys a lot of big plays. But we know from the last game it was communication problems. They gave up 37 points. I said in the last segment that it was kind of hard for the secondary being able to improve after 1 week of getting torched by the Giants. So looking at this play, you got Diggs in press coverage. So let's just take a look at it. And so on the play, you see that Diggs slipped. There's no help over the top. And it was just an easy touchdown. Now, my thing is this, Cowboy Nation. I know that mistakes at corner is one of the most difficult positions to play. And I get that. But they paid Diggs this big money. The Cowboys paid him. He's getting paid like top five salary in the league. And for the last couple of years, he just hasn't been showing elite skills. And I know he's coming off an injury, but if you knowing that he has that knee injury, and you putting him out there on the island like that, that's just setting him up to fail. He has to perform better. Or I just see the Cowboys letting him go after this season. That play, we know that mistakes happen. We know that. But it just got to get better, man. Things like that. You jab the receiver and you slip. And then I'm not just putting this on Diggs. He just coming off this injury. You don't have anybody in place over there over the top. It looked like Malik Hooker. They had Malik Hooker as the single high. Oh, no, he's not the single high on this one. Donovan Wilson, just like last week, not in place to help Diggs on this route. Okay, so, and then let's go back again. They brought the blitz, and they're just not getting to the quarterback. You cannot run that type of scheme. You gotta be able to get to the quarterback. And Caleb Williams, he just sat back there and just delivered the ball. It's just very disappointing looking at that. So let's fast forward. Let's look at another highlight that I wanted to point out to y'all. No, not this one yet. I don't want to share this one. Okay, this is another highlight. This is the flea flicker. And as you can see, you got a 10-yard cushion right here. Let's look at this play. Okay. You got Reddy Stewart over here. They bring Donovan Wilson up in the box, and you got Murray right here at the middle linebacker position. Now, this was the flea flicker that they ran. And yeah, it's a trick play, but look at the cover. I just want you to take a look at this coverage. Receiver does like a hesitation move right here, kind of hesitates, and then just breaks out. Everybody is peeking in the backfield, and this time they had Malik Booker as the high safety. And look at that. Look at it again. Oh, that's Elam. That was Elam on the coverage. Everybody out of place. Malik is peeking in the backfield, and Luther Burden, the rookie, just touchdown. I mean, just easy. It was just they just made it look too easy, Silver and Blue Nation last game. That's been the problem, man. It's just like nobody's in position. Nobody is on the same page when it comes to this defense, which is just very frustrating. I want to look at something else right quick. This play, the secondary actually do their job on this play in keeping Duns from scoring. It looked like they got 2 high safeties in the zone look. Donovan Wilson makes the play on this play, which has been rare for the last 2 or 3 weeks. He played that tough. I give it to him. But after that play, the doors just fall off the house. Donovan Wilson, Malik. I hate throwing players under the bus, but they've just been struggling in the last couple of weeks. Let's take a look at this play. This play is a confirmation that these guys are not on the same page. As you look here, look at this. You got Donovan Wilson pointing out to Elam on this side, tight ends. So it looked like they're communicating. He's pointing out it's double tights to the right, and he's pointing out who his man Elam needs to pick up on this play. Now take a look at this play, man. Caleb snaps the ball. What is Donovan Wilson doing right here? I want you to tell me. You done pointed out Elam's coverage, and you don't even know your coverage. You're going to the flat. And he just walks in the end zone. Look at that. What is he doing? Cowboy Nation, that's just real disturbing, man. Looking at that is just real disturbing. That this team has been operating like this for the last 2 games. And so this team is trending downward. When you're talking about the defensive side of the ball, this team is trending downward. I don't know how they're going to fix this problem. You got Diggs with an injury. You got Tyler Booker with the injury. Tyler Booker has a high ankle sprain. You got CeeDee Lamb with a high ankle sprain that's out for 6 to 8 weeks, which you might as well say 8 weeks. Tyler Booker probably 5, 6 weeks. And then you have a lot of disarray in that secondary. Let's not put all of this on the defense. The offense, they only scored 14. And putting CeeDee Lamb in the backfield, that was a head scratcher. You know, you had to go back and Monday morning quarterback these plays, but that one, man, I just didn't understand that. You had Williams averaging 7.1 yards a carry on these guys, and you just totally abandoned the run. They panicked and abandoned the run a little bit too quick, in my opinion, in the second half. What was more demoralizing, I didn't really show that first drive of the Chicago Bears, man, they just stepped on the Cowboys' neck in the second half. They held the ball for 9 minutes and 54 seconds. They just ran the ball directions. They just punked the Cowboys in that second half. And so that's just something that I wanted to point out in this quick hit, just how the communication problems that the Cowboys are still having, they haven't addressed it. And what's crazy is that you got players like Stephon Gilmore. We've been talking, all the Cowboy fans have been talking about why they haven't brought Stephon Gilmore in. And I had an opportunity to look at Vouch Lombardi and Brian Broaddus on their platform on Crown Media. Shout out to Brian Broaddus and Vouch Lombardi. And the fan asked a question to Brian Broaddus. You know, Brian Broaddus used to be a scout for the Cowboys, so he still has like inside connections with the Dallas Cowboys. And one of the fans asked about Stephon Gilmore. And Brian Broaddus said, hey, the Cowboys, the upper management, they do not think Stephon Gilmore don't have the ability anymore to play. You know, they don't think that he's the guy to come in here and help out this secondary. And man, I beg to differ on that. You cannot tell me that Stephon Gilmore wouldn't do better. You trying to tell me that Stephon Gilmore wouldn't do better than what you already have? Elam that's given up, he's like in the top 5 of giving up receiving yards, over like 300 something yards of receiving, or Trayvon Diggs that's still kind of injured. You mean to tell me that he couldn't come and help these young guys and better this secondary? I beg to differ on that. I just don't understand that. And you can bring him in for a bag of Skittles. You don't even really have to give him that much. The veteran minimum or with some incentives. I don't see that being a big liability. That could be a low risk, high reward type move. I just don't understand why they're not kicking the tires on Stephon Gilmore anymore. But Jadeveon Clowney coming in. This is not a quick correct as far as the communication in the secondary. They're going to have to really figure this thing out with the communication and the personnel. They switched up and they put Malik Booker at high safety, at the free safety, and they brought Donovan Wilson closer to the line of scrimmage, which he's very good being closer to the line of scrimmage. But guess what? Malik Hooker was getting cooked. You know, it didn't change anything this past week. So did you know that Caleb Williams, he didn't even get touched? This is the first time in his career he didn't get sacked. He looked like Warren Moon out there. So I don't know what the Cowboys going to do, Silver and Blue Nation. It's looking like it's going to be a long, long season. It's just not a good look. And I just wanted to share some stats with you right quick before we get off. It was 57 offensive plays during that game. Okay. They only got 7 pressures, quarterback pressures on the quarterback. The average depth of cushion on the receivers was 7.1 yards. Man, that's an easy first. You only need 10 yards to get a first down. They're giving up 7.1 yards on the cushion on the wide receiver. So that's a schematic problem that they got to address. Okay, this check this one out. It's 10 missed tackles that gave up an extra 30 yards. They had 10 missed tackles, and they blitzed only 8 times out of 29 pressures. And if they don't change this, it's going to be a long season. We might as well start talking about draft day because, you know, the games that the Cowboys need to win, you needed to get this game. You need to win the games like the Carolina Panthers and the Jets. You got to get these games. Green Bay Packers, guess what? They coming in. They coming in with a Michael Parsons that's going to be motivated. He's going to be pretty motivated to get some sacks on this Cowboys team. And guess what? That receiving core coming off this drought against the Cleveland Browns, don't you think they're going to be a little bit motivated, man? They're going to be licking their chops to roast this secondary. It's going to be a long day this Sunday, and I just hope they figure it out. But that's it for this quick hits, Silver and Blue Nation. Thanks for tuning in, and we are out.